Hello, and welcome to our special town hall we have for Preptober. So we all know NaNoWriMo is just around the corner, and so we wanted to do this quick show to help us all get ready for it and help us prepare in this last dash before NaNoWriMo. So I've got some wonderful guests on today. I'm used to doing night shows. It's only 5 o'clock, guys. So why don't we start with Miss Katherine Sweet. We'll start with her, and you can introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about what you write.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Katherine Sweet. I've been writing pretty much my whole life. I sort of fell into writing a rom-com. I indie published for the first time this year, and that's that book, Love Is. It's fantastic. So I don't normally write rom-coms, and I fell into this one, and I'm pretty excited about it. It's been a lot of fun. I normally I write focusing on building characters and then sort of working the plot around that. And this time I kind of had a plot and found the characters along the way. So
Oh, super fun. Great to have you here. AF Stewart.
Okay, yeah, I'm Nina Stewart. I write under AF Stewart, as you can see. And I write horror and fantasy, a little poetry. I host 2 podcasts, Between the Pages Book Chat and Words That Kill. And I also do book covers and have my own book cover site. So that's me.
Wonderful. And then finally we have Hal Arnold.
Hi, my name's Hal. I just finished my first book. I'm a sci-fi dystopian author, and this is my book, We Who Paved the Milky Way.
Wonderful. Love that cover. It's so colorful, but like perfect for genre. And then I, of course, am Julia Allen. I write as J.K. Allen, and I'm your host tonight with these wonderful ladies. So we're talking Preptober. So first I wanted to start out by asking, who's a plotter and who's a pantser?
Well, I'm a plotter.
Wibbly wobbly a little bit, yeah.
I have to plot my ending and I have to plot
Right,
my
okay.
beginning. Like there has to be like I have to know where I'm going. So like my ending has to be really plotted out, and like my beginning, but my
Right.
middle's always soft outline. Like I tend to the middle tends to change a lot. So I'm more pantser in the middle, but I'm definitely plotter at the end.
Yeah, I'm one of those people that has to kind of know how I'm going or where I'm going. Yeah.
I don't know what you would consider me, but I definitely start out just with about 5 random scenes, and then they kind of happen without me doing any planning. And then the next thing I know, I have to go back to the beginning, and then I plot it out, and it takes me an enormous amount of time. That's where I get into all of my character charts and all those types of diagrams and stuff. So I do the fun stuff first and then go back and do the hard work.
No, I do all the
Gotcha.
hard stuff first.
Yeah.
I like to plan all my stuff, do my research, get everything the way the story's going to go. And though I am pantsing a little bit this year because I'm writing a short story collection, and I generally pants my short stories a little more than my novels.
Yeah, same. Mm-hmm.
But I still got to do a lot of research this year because they're all historically based on fairy tales and stuff.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, we can talk about Nano Project specifically in just a second. I just wanted to quickly go over my plotting process, because like I know some people can be really super detailed and some people can be really super loose. So a nice balance is kind of like to do a loose chapter outline or scene outline. So for each scene, what I like to do is focus on write a sentence for like what is the action in the scene, write a second sentence for the reaction or the conflict that causes, and then just write down any goals that I have when I sit down. Like, do I want to like introduce this, plot device or foreshadow or develop a relationship between character A and character B? So that's like something that's really easy to do if you are not used to plotting, but you're thinking like, I need a little bit of help to get started with NaNoWriMo. That is something that's simple and easy to do. So that's kind of my process. And I can get more detailed and take notes or less detailed. But yeah, let's talk about everyone's projects for NaNoWriMo. So what are you doing NaNoWriMo this year, and what are you working on?
Oh, I am, and it's a little bit more complex than that. I actually scheduled a extensive NaNoWriMo project for myself before actual November, and that was to finish my sequel of my book, We Who Paved the Milky Way. The next one is going to be titled Song of the Windwraith, and it should be coming out sometime next year or maybe early of the year after. But this next NaNoWriMo project that I will be starting on at the beginning of November will be the third one and the final one. So I will be wrapping up my book series in the next month coming. So
Oh, that's so exciting. Yeah. Awesome. Writing the trilogy. Very, very cool. And then Anita, you said you were writing some short stories based on fairy tales. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about your project?
Yeah, it's a sequel of sorts as well. Sequel to my short story collection, Visions and Nightmares. This one's Fairy Tales and Nightmares. And I'm basically taking 9 fairy tales and giving them a horror twist and giving them a little retelling twist, like putting them in different historic eras, like the Snow White tales in feudal Japan, the Alibaba tales in ancient Roman Turkey, and stuff like that.
Very, very cool. Sounds like an awesome project. So you
Yeah,
got
and
some research
they're
to
all
do before you start.
stories with female protagonists, like the last book too. So.
Oh, nice. And then Catherine, what are you working on for NaNoWriMo?
I'm sticking with the theme we have going. So I am writing the sequel to Love Is. It's a 2-part series. So first one was about Matt, and the second one is going to be about the younger brother Vinny. And I'm super excited to write it because, it's got some things that I'm excited to write about.
That is super exciting. So you all is dealing with different characters in the same universe, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Very, very cool. Yeah, I kind of did that with my series where the first series introduces kind of the universe and these characters, and the second series was set in the same universe but with new characters. So I kind of love that though, because then you can like explore other aspects of the universe that you haven't or the world, or just you just get to explore new stuff even though you're still like in a familiar setting for the readers. So I'm not quite sure what my nano project is going to be, because I wanted to start writing the second book in my series, but I kind of wanted to go back and redo some of the first book. So I might just be doing a little editing NaNoWriMo project and doing some rewriting in the first book, and then seeing how far I can get into the second book. So that's my project. But I did want to ask you guys, so I know how you said that you have kind of an interesting process when it comes to like this kind of organic scenes that pop into your head, and then you go back and plot the rest of the story. So what is your inspiration for plotting?
I'd say a lot of that is that at first I might start with even a single word or maybe a song that's kind of affected me in the right way. And then I feel like I almost just put my fingers on the keys, and then an hour passes and suddenly there's words there. I don't feel like I'm maybe the best person to guide or teach someone in writing, despite having a teaching background. Because for me, writing has always been something that's more emotional. And then afterwards I go back and process what emotions I was using in that writing, and then I put kind of like a sociological or a an important world meaning behind it, and
Right.
then I piece that back together. So first is expression, and then is purposefulness. So that's kind of how I process that.
Okay, so you kind of just sort creative in the first process and then go back and put intentions and stuff like that. And I like that process though. How about you, Catherine? Do you have like a certain inspiration you do, like mood boards, Pinterest, or?
I definitely use those. That's definitely helpful to me. So I'm not very spatial, so I struggle when I'm trying to write a scene to remember where the kitchen is versus where the bedroom is in the house. So I legit, when I'm starting to work on something, once I start polishing, like I have to print like a floor plan of the space that I'm going to be in so I can look at it and remember where they are. But I typically start with character, like a character interaction is usually what sparks my conversation. Like in the first book, um it's a rom-com based on kind of a crazy car crash premise. And the first conversation that kind of appears in the book is, hey, so you screwed me over and you were mean, so I knocked somebody up with your sperm, deal with it. Was kind of the first iteration. So like a lot of times, and same with the second book, it's a quiet conversation that started with essentially the line, don't use your customer service voice on me.
Oh, I love
Is
that
kind of
line.
like the jump point of the second book of like where we start. So I tend to be kind of what comes into my head, and then I figure out where it needs to be.
Okay, so you start with characters and their interactions with each other and then kind of go
Yep.
from there. Wonderful. And how
For
about
sure.
you, Anita?
Well, I generally start with kind of a what if idea. It's like, what if Snow White
Yeah.
was in feudal Japan? And then I sort of rough out the beginning and I rough out the ending, and then I just try and connect the two of them together. But and that's where all the plotting comes in, and the research. I do a lot of research. That's where the research helps, because it gives me pieces to put into the plot. Like
Right.
like with the magic mirror. I recently researched Japanese mirrors in feudal Japan to find out what it looked like, how it would be hanging on the wall, stuff like that, and that kind of gives me visuals to help visualize
Nice.
the
Yeah.
scene. And I also use Pinterest and diagrams, because
Yes.
you got to
Yes.
get those castle floor plans down, or they just you get confused.
Right. Right. I do get especially confused because I am not a visual person at all. So, one great thing that I like to do kind of for inspiration is I have a tarot deck that is like really like fantastical creatures, and so and each tarot card has a different meaning, so I kind of do a little shuffle and pull a card and see like what that sparks for me idea wise, either how the character feels, something about their personality, like a personality trait, or like something plot wise that could be like whether it's like a conflict card or something like that. That really helps me when I'm kind of really stuck for ideas. But I love the visual aspect because I'm not a visual person, of pit crews and creating avatars for my characters, just so I can feel like, okay, they would have like, Charlotte's got a big personality, so she would have big fun curly hair and little quirks about their characters that I really love to play with and figure out and get to see come to life in this wonderful avatar, and without having to do the drawing myself. Like that's so nice. But going along with this inspiration question, what do you guys do when you get writer's block?
I
It's like the toughest question ever.
I no, I legit. So I have a theater background. I study theater in college, and if I get really stuck, I will grab the last line and I'll repeat it a few times to myself, like whatever I ended on. And then I'll walk out of my room and start pacing my house, usually with my dogs trailing behind me. And I start saying that line over and over again. And then I start thinking about how would the other characters react to that thing that just happened. And then I just start having usually an argument between two of the characters
Right.
about the situation. And then I sort of, and sometimes that'll really like the forward motion and the thinking in their mindset will get me back focused usually.
Right. Getting up and moving around helps. Yeah, because sometimes we forget when we're in a big like writing sprint and we just are sitting there. That blood needs to flow to our brains too. What do you think?
I also know I look like a crazy person. Like I feel bad for my neighbor. Like I know she's seen me like walking it behind my windows, just like yelling at the top of my lungs.
Just send her a Christmas note, like you're a theater friend, you know. Love your theater friend, and she'll just understand. It's all for the roles, you know.
Yeah, I pace too, and sometimes I go for a drive in the car. But the thing that helps the best is if I'm washing the dishes.
Yes. I was going to say washing dishes, doing something kind of mindless, but gives your hand something to do.
It's the running water too. For some reason, running water stimulates my brain. I don't know why.
Right, yeah.
But anyway, I've gotten some of my best ideas washing the dishes. So
nice. How about you, Hal?
I think when it comes to writer's block, typically if I've hit writer's block, it's because I didn't do enough plotting, which makes sense knowing that I have the writing style that I do. So what I do instead is I go back and I think to myself, have I elaborated on all of the characters enough? Because if I feel that there's a character that was supposed to be stronger, that the character is not going to be well represented in my my reader's eye, then what I do is I go back to my notebook. I have all of my notebooks. I write on completely blank paper, which is probably a little bit strange, but I like to draw and create. So kind of an example here. Let me see. Basically what I'll do is I'll start mapping my characters, their motives, their interests. I'll have one major question. So this one says, what does Laval want? And then I'll start from there and begin to talk about that character in detail. And usually through that, I can see there really should be a scene talking about this character's wants, needs, so they're well represented in the story. So yeah, usually when I've got writer's block, that's my sign that I haven't done enough character development to know where the story needs to go next.
Yeah, and that's why I love setting goals when I sit down to write, because that kind of gives me an idea of like, what am I actually doing, instead of staring at the blank screen and being like, panic mode. So having an idea of like where you're going, if you are a pantser, just like having an idea of like what you want to do with the chapter might be an easier way of thinking about it than being like, well, I don't want to know where I'm going, because that's the fun of discovering as I go. Having a goal when you sit down and being like, this is just what I want to do with this next chapter or this next scene, really helps. I was going to say something else, but now I don't remember what I was going to say. It's been a long day, guys. Sorry. It's only 5:00, but I'm already like, oh, it feels like it's 9:00. But yeah, those little things like washing the dishes or going for a walk, pacing, can really, really be helpful, because like I said, it kind of gets your blood flowing, and gets your mind going. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. Characters. When you're writing characters, I think really 3 important things is flaws, motivations, and goals. So the goal is like what they want to do or what they want to get out of a situation. Motivations is why they want that. And then having flaws, like beyond just being like clumsy or cutesy quirks. But what do you guys think are really important when you're like developing your characters?
My big thing with developing characters, and I heard this on a TikTok and I wish I could remember who said it, but it's know the lie that your character tells themselves that they believe. And that has become one of the most important things that I have found with my character development, is because if I know that lie, I can figure out all of the other things that encompass that character, and it can really help cement them, especially if you're doing somebody like a character's character development. Like, are they changing within the story? Like, how are they changing? And if that lie is something like, I'm unlovable, like you can explore why they think that and then move
Right.
forward and past that. So that's my biggest piece of advice that I've learned when developing characters is that right off the bat.
I think that's excellent advice. Kind of bouncing off of that, something that I've said in a couple of my TikToks is that you should try filling out the 50 questions to fall in love, because if you can't fall in love with your character, if you don't have enough information to fall in love with your character, there's no way your readers are going to fall in love with them. If you think of the greatest selling books out there, like Harry Potter, the reason we love those books is because we can predict absolutely everything that those characters will do and say. That's why there's fan fiction, because they're such predictable, well-known characters. And if you don't create that kind of atmosphere for your readers to engage with, then they don't know who your characters are. They don't have the desire to know your characters, to be with your characters, and to keep reading. So I think K-Sweet does an absolutely fantastic job of making you fall in love with her characters, and she definitely knows who they are. So her book is a fantastic example of that. But yeah, so that's my big tip, is try those questions to fall in love, and that might help your writer's process kind of similarly to how it helps mine.
Yeah, my characters generally develop from their flaws.
Mm.
And one of the things I have to pay attention with, especially writing horror, is how far I can take them, because a lot of my characters go to extremes. But I have to have motivation as to why they would go to those extreme lengths to do the things that they're doing too. So, and there's a lot of dysfunction, and like Katherine said, lies. My characters lie a lot.
Right, right.
To themselves, to other people, to every strangers.
Right, right. Yeah. But what awesome characters they end up being, though. So the tricky thing about NaNoWriMo is not always the writing. Sometimes it's more about the actual logistics of it. So how do you guys organize your time and words most efficiently to get stuff done? Because like that's the challenge, is you're doing it in 30 days, and half of, a good week of that is holidays almost. So
Well, it's only holidays for you guys. I'm in Canada.
Oh
There's no
yeah,
Thanksgiving
you're
in November in
there.
Canada. So.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
lucky. Yeah.
I don't want these holidays.
Yeah,
Do
so the
not.
holidays are over by the time November hits in Canada. But no, I break my writing day down into 3 chunks, and I also tend to change up my writing time, because usually when I'm writing in the afternoon or the evening. But during Nano, I try and make it more to the morning. So sort of get up and have breakfast and then get it over with, sort of a thing.
Okay.
But I break it's the Nano word count, something like 1,700 words a day. I think it's a little less than that, but
yeah, 16,
so I break it up into 3 chunks, like 500 words. Get 500 words done, then do the next 500 words, and then do the next 700 words. So it makes it easier if I just focus on the 500 at a time, and then the 500 and the 500. And if you can't get it all done in the morning, then you only have I only have 500 to do in the afternoon. I can do that,
right?
So it's sort of tricking my mind as to, it's not 1,700 words, it's 3 chunks of 500.
Right. No, that's very, very smart. The way to go about it. Make more manageable chunks out of it.
And I also like to do the word sprints, which helps an awful lot.
Oh, I love word sprints. Whenever I'm stuck, I'm just like, sprint time, guys. Find someone to do sprints with you. For sure. How about you guys? Do you have any tips for organizing / prioritizing?
I do, however, I'm not sure how many people this will help.
Okay.
So for me, I do work full time. So I do work from home, luckily though, and I work with students. So a lot of times while I'm waiting for a student to finish their work or to have a question, I will sit back, and I work with one-on-one students. So obviously this makes it a little bit easier. But I sit back and I just have a notebook with me all day, and I write alongside what I'm doing, so that I kind of never stop writing for that day. I also, yeah, since I don't always write in order, which I'm not necessarily suggesting, it allows me to not feel stale in an area. I do plan out each chapter, but I don't require myself to write those chapters in order. So the chapters will already be pre-decided what they are, but I go into each one and then I'm like, okay, today I'm feeling this chapter, so this is the one I'll work on.
Right.
Or halfway through, I'm like, okay, I'm exhausted by this. I need to not write about water for like at least 30 minutes. And then it also helps me to just change the form in which I'm writing. So if I have pens that are fun or something like that, it's more likely that I will be excited to get work done than if I have to just sit in front of my computer worrying about blue light for hours on end. So those are kind of my suggestions for anyone who is not enthused to spend a whole day possibly writing. And also, I don't look at the word count. So I tell myself, whatever I get to today, that's great. But some days I'll soar past it and it'll be 6,000 words. And I'm just like, okay. And then other days it's 239. And that's just how it's gonna be.
But that is kind of the nice thing about plotting, is that you can write out of order, because I used to do that a lot in my first book when I wrote that, because I find my process kind of changes and evolves with each book, and each time I do it. So but like knowing each chapter that you're going to write ahead of time means you can write this chapter when you're feeling angsty and this chapter when you're feeling moody, and vice versa. How about you, Catherine? Do you have any tips for prioritizing or organizing time?
So I used to write 10,000 words a week, every week.
Oh,
and
okay.
I got out of habit, and it's been hard to get back in. The other minor issue is that the industry that I'm in and I work full time, this is the busy season. It's fourth quarter. I work back office for health insurance agents. This is open enrollment time. This is nightmare fuel. So I set myself like, this is how many words I have to get done by the end of the week. And I that motivates me, like, to know that I have to get there. So if I want to be lazy on Tuesday, then I have to get this many done on Monday, or Wednesday. I'm going to be hurting. So that's helped me stay focused, but I know that doesn't work for everybody. And I'm a former gifted kid. So like I have to have a prize at the end. So like if I make my word count, then I get to have a real drink after I'm done with my writing on Saturday.
Right. No, I'm all about positive reinforcement for people. Yeah, manageable goals and positive reinforcement. I kind of like the idea of looking at it as a week rather than daily.
Yes.
So that you can be like, okay, I'm going to take Tuesday off for sure. So like Monday, I'm going to see how much I can do, and Wednesday, I'm going to really push myself. Rather than panicking, because if you miss a couple days and you're looking at your daily count, then all of a sudden Wednesday you've got to write triple. That can be really daunting, for sure. So I really like that weekly view. And then also, positive reinforcements for sure. I'll have snacks available while I'm writing, but like I'll treat myself with like a favorite piece of candy, or like, oh, I really want to watch the show, but I'm writing, so I can't. So when I take my break, then I'll be like, time to watch an episode. And so like rewarding yourself, just like, definitely helps, because you get those like positive endorphins for completing the task, then getting rewarded, and then you start to associate that with writing, and then you're like, I love writing,
everything in theory.
Everything
in theory.
That's great. Another big thing, I know we talked about writer's block before. When I find that I'm really getting writer's block, what I'm really struggling is with burnout. So how do you guys prevent getting burnout? Because that is so easy for that to happen during NaNoWriMo.
Chocolate,
yes. Yes, for sure. Yeah.
So the leftover Halloween candy fixes burnout quite nicely, at least for a little while.
I cut my teeth writing fan fiction.
Okay.
So I definitely know what burnout feels like. And I think that because I did have that, like, essentially when I got the first one done. And my friend who read it was one of the first people who read it. She goes, "Okay, so when's the next book coming out? Because I want to know that answer to that question that you left at the end of the first book." And I'm like, "Yeah, I've got some words written on it, and I legitimately do have some words written on it, but not as many as I said I did." And I'm sitting there going, "I got to work on this. I got to work on this." And then my motivation came in the other day because someone I used to write with and not write with, she used to read my stuff, messaged me, and she's like, "So your book came out. Are you gonna put that fic up now? Can you work on that now?" And like I was out of spite motivated to work on the second book. I'm like, no. I think spite oddly is a big motivator for me because I
would never know based off of your book.
Right.
Oh my god. So I am somebody who, like, if you tell me I can't, I want to.
Right.
So, like,
or tell you to do something. Well, no, I'm not going to.
no,
Yeah.
oh no, my character like have obviously there's influence from me in my characters, but I always like to use the best parts of myself in my characters. I throw the negative in other places.
Right. No, I'm totally all about that, like, rebel without a cause thing. Yeah. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what not to do, or unless you want the opposite reaction. Yeah. For sure. How about you, Hal? Like, what do you do for self-care / rejuvenating either creativity or just mental well-being?
Well, partially, I have two of the cutest cats in the entire world. So just looking at them can rejuvenate me. But I also have an unsavory addiction to boba tea, which means that I will spend a lot of time driving a mile and a half down the road to go get a boba tea while I work on something. And I do freelance writing as well. So I've been writing for a small pets website recently. So I was sitting in there taking calls to veterinarians and working on writing as well. But yeah, so that's one of my things. Just change your location. I have written in hammocks. I have written on picnic blankets at the park. I have written pretty much anywhere you can write, but wherever I go, I just carry a notebook and hope that even if I'm self-caring at the time, I have something to write down on, because I will forget it if I don't write it down.
Right.
Voice recorders are my friend. I have a voice recorder app in my phone because a lot of times I leave my notebook places. So if I have an idea, I'll just turn it on and say it out loud, and then okay.
Right. Recording it. Yeah, for sure. How about you, Anita? What do you do for self-care besides chocolate?
Well, I do my art. I find because that actually relaxes me a lot more than writing. So,
Right.
so I just do my art, practice with my alcohol markers, or do some graphic design stuff, or just
Make
do
some covers,
some composite photos for fun instead of work and stuff like that. So that's generally what I do. It sort of recharges my creativity, and gets me away from the writing part of it. But
yeah, I like to make graphics. So I'll do like little graphics for books that I've written or I'm gonna write. That's really fun.
That's why all my works in progress have covers.
Yeah, procrastinate the actual writing by just
so
making
nice,
pretty
though.
art instead. Yeah.
Well, it also helps me visually to help with the writing the book if I know
Right.
what the cover looks like. So
That would be so nice to have the cover.
The amount of jealousy I have.
Yeah.
The amount of jealousy I have right now.
Right.
I don't.
Those darn cover designers being able to make covers before they write. Yeah.
Just full appreciation, but full jealousy, because like I'm not spatial, so I don't understand what space is. I like the girl who designed my cover said, "What do you want?" And I said, "I have no idea. This is what my genre looks like. Here's the first 3 chapters of my book. Make it pretty." Right. I have no things. I don't know what to tell you. Help! I'm lost.
Help! Yeah. Well, it is hard, especially if you like, because covers have to be so like genre specific, and there's so many different elements that go into it, rather than just like a pretty painting can just be like just pretty for the aesthetic of it, whereas a cover has a lot that it has to accomplish. One thing I was going to say is really important, and this is like just for like overall in general, but like if there's one thing that you can do to be kind to yourself during NaNoWriMo, it's probably to like make sure you're drinking water and eating regularly, because like we get stuck and we're like hours on the keyboard, and then you're like, why am I so cranky? Why am I so moody? Like, why is everything like, just horrible? And then it's like, oh, I haven't eaten in 6 hours. Like, that's definitely something that like we need to remember. Self-care, like basic self-care, like eat regularly, make sure you're getting some sleep, and like, yeah, and drink your water, so like, let's take care of ourselves, people, while we write all the words and stuff. Now I know Anita doesn't have to worry about this, but like, what do you guys do to fight the holidays? Like when you like, do you just like plan ahead and schedule that time off because you're just like, Thanksgiving is coming up, or you got to do Christmas shopping or something? So you like, what do you guys do to fight the holidays?
I feel like fighting might not be the best word. It's more like surviving.
Okay. Right. Okay. Fair enough. Yes. Surviving the holidays. Dealing with family can be a whole thing for sure.
It does help that I don't think I'm going to be driving this year. I'm going to have a personal chauffeur. And so because of that, I will be able to write the whole trip. So that would be nice. Okay. It is a 4.5-hour trip home to my family. So that does give me some time to work. So
I think for me, one of the things that's going to be super helpful. So I have a retail background before I got into what I do now. So I have Black Friday off, which for me was always like the most stressful part of the holiday. Like we would have to leave whatever party we're at by like 2:00, so I could go home, go to bed, try to get a nap in before I need to be at the store at like 4 a.m.
Right.
Which is just a nightmare in itself. But anyway, so the office that I work at, we get the holiday and that Friday off. So like part of what I know I'm going to spend a lot of that Friday doing is writing. Mm-hmm. And, if I decide that we don't want to spend the entire time at Thanksgiving, my husband and I may use each other as excuses to get out of the holiday parties. Oh, gotta go to...
His family is now having a thing.
We gotta go the other way and then go home and take a nap.
Right.
Not above
Your secret stay with us. They're not watching this, right? Yeah.
My cats are having an emergency.
Oh, yeah. Right. My imaginary cats are having an emergency. Yes. I love it. Yes. When did she get cats?
Right. We never knew. Yeah. The dust bunnies under the bed need me. So, yeah. I mean, I think the best thing you can do is kind of look at that week and just be like, okay, honestly, like, what am I going to get done Wednesday and Thursday? Probably not much, but Friday and Saturday, maybe I can. Saturday and Sunday, maybe I can, and just like kind of plan ahead to kind of make up for it, either ahead of time or afterwards, like maybe get in some extra words. This next thing I wanted to ask you guys is what I think is especially important for writing, but like especially during NaNoWriMo. How do you guys prepare your friends and family as far as like setting boundaries to be like, I will be writing from this time to this time, like leave me alone and like respect this? Like, what are you like? How do you guys go about protecting your writing time, I guess is a good way of saying it.
Well, I live alone, so I don't have anyone to bother me.
Bonus.
And I turn off all my groups, my unnecessary groups on Facebook for a month. So I'm not tempted.
Yeah.
Turn off all the notifications for a month and not tempted. And, let everyone know I'm doing Nano. Don't bother me.
They
don't listen, but But I generally ignore them anyway. So
I tell my family what's going on, and I
Mhm.
basically tell them I'm going to lock myself in my office, so don't bother me. If it's an emergency, call me, hang up immediately, and then call me again so I know it's an actual emergency. And if you call me
Right.
with a
Okay.
non-emergency, you've lost your privileges. I won't answer the phone the next time. You're gonna have to call my husband to try to get my attention, and nobody wants that. Nobody wants that.
Right.
I like the unplug though. I like the idea of muting some of the groups that I don't necessarily need to pay attention to during
Right.
that time though.
Mhm.
That's a good idea. Thank
Yeah,
you.
that is really good. How about you, Hal?
So I live far away from my family now. I do have a boyfriend, but he, for the most part, kind of just expects me to go into a creative frenzy at any time. And
Right.
I think his main job then becomes making sure I'm eating and
Yes.
surviving. So he is my care package. Um, but that being said, I think for the most part, what I do to just kind of like get away from everything and get away from everyone else is maybe the opposite. I don't feel like getting away from people is a hard thing for me. In fact, I think it's perhaps the opposite, that I struggle to spend time with people. So I think what I do the most is try to spend time with people that I believe will help me in my process. For example, I have a
Right.
very close best friend who, as soon as I start talking to her, she's so enthusiastic. She's so kind. And she has listened to me just talk for hours about what I'm not sure. And so I think finding those people that want to listen to you, that want to talk, is extremely
Mhm.
important. That's partially why I created a writer's Discord. And I know some of
Yeah.
you know of that. And basically, the Writers Discord is just so that you have a community of writers to talk to and to make friends with, and who always want to talk about writing because that's all they do 24/7. And they want to help you get to the point, because thinking about crazy ideas and solutions is all that's going on in their
Mhm.
heads anyway. So I think for me, to sum it up, it's the opposite. I don't really want to pull away from people because that's what I tend to do naturally, but rather to spend more time with people that I care about.
Got you. Yeah. It's always nice to have like a writing buddy or someone you can like brainstorm with. So yeah, you want to keep those people around. Generally, like just what I recommend for people is kind of unplugging just for like that hour or two where you need to write. Like when you're doing like a sprint or something, and just like maybe leave your phone in the other room, or heaven forbid turn it off. But I love Anita's ideas of like turning off notifications for things that really just aren't that important right now and that you don't need to focus on for the month. I think it's important for us to unplug every now and then anyways, but it can be really hard to do because we all kind of have that fear of missing out or not being on top of the new TikTok trend. But it is important to protect your writing time. So if you're not with a friend talking about what you're going to write next, then yeah, maybe you leave the phone in the other room. Like you'll be able to check your notifications at the end of that next writing sprint. Now, do you guys listen to music or anything while you write? Do you have any playlists that you recommend?
Absolutely.
I know Anita doesn't. Yeah, Anita does not listen to anything,
I can't
which
listen to
is
music because the creative part of my brain will just go, "Ooh, that's good music. Let's dance."
yeah,
Aww.
you get into
And
it.
it's like I
Yeah.
totally forget what I'm writing and I'm listening to the music. So yeah, I can't.
I
I mean,
have
sometimes I listen to music before I write, to set a mood or
Oh, to
get
get
my mind
yourself in the mood,
space.
right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
but not during.
Do you have a favorite playlist like when that happens?
I've got a couple of playlists. Like I do playlists for when I'm writing. Like I've got a few playlists for the historical fantasy I'm writing,
Oh, nice. Yeah.
and some Halloween playlists. And if I really
Yes.
want to get in a good mood, I'll put the supernatural playlist on. Listen to all the
Oh,
rock songs.
nice.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, music is great for setting a mood and a vibe and all that stuff. How about you, Hal? Do you have a playlist you recommend for people?
Oh yeah, for sure. I definitely go straight to lo-fi music when
Okay.
I need to have a completely clear headspace. That way there's no words. I actually love this one playlist. I'm not sure why it's called Samurai Lo-Fi. I don't know why I like it, but I do.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
I think it has maybe like a song in there that's like a warped version of Avatar, if I'm thinking like Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I think that
Yes.
might be why I like it.
The true Avatar. Yeah, we won't discuss the movie.
What
And
movie?
then I do know that in the Discord that we have, there's like a section for you to write along with people, and they put in a massive list of playlists. So if you're a writer and you're not in our Discord, there's a massive list of playlists in there that are really, really cool. And I constantly find new ones that people are posting that I'm like, okay, that's the one I'm listening to today. And
Right.
it's funny how it seems like what one writer can use is usable for another writer, in at least my case.
Yeah. Yeah.
I flip back and forth. So there is on YouTube, I found it's like a Ghibli from Studio Ghibli, like a
Yes.
jazz, like kind of lo-fi that is like one of my favorites. And then, so that is one extreme that I will listen to while I'm writing. And then I have just a little YouTube playlist that I made, and all of the songs are super angry or super intense. I don't know
Right.
if you've ever heard of the artist Corpse Husband, who used to do horror stories, but he's on my playlist a lot, and it's
Right. Okay.
super like heavy. Like if you look at my face, it is not something, or you read my book, it is not something you would feel like that would be a go-to. But I actually find that really inspirational when I'm writing, and not the
Okay.
angry scenes. I
That's
think
interesting.
there's
Yeah.
something about the opposite that will jar me enough so that I don't get lost in the music, but I also don't get so lost in the story that I forget the outside world. I think, for lack of a better.
Yeah. Totally. Very,
Yeah,
very cool.
lots of angry music for some reason.
Angry screaming music. Yeah. No, that's awesome. I usually just listen to K-pop because I'm just like distracted part of my mind with the happy Korean song, and then I can focus on the writing of the words. That's just how my brain works. I don't know, but it's just like I can really get my energy up though, because they're like happy, bright music. You know, can really get me going and into the flow. Um, and I want to spend like the rest of the time just talking about like tips, tricks, and hacks. Just like how do you survive NaNoWriMo? Like anything that helps. I'll start with my favorite tip for just like intense writing sessions is to kind of try to approach it from the Pomodoro technique aspect. And what that is going to mean is just like writing sprints of 15 to 20 minutes, taking a 5 to 10 minute break, 15, 20 minutes, repeat. And then after you've done like about an hour of work, then you can take a longer half an hour break. It's just really important because I know it seems like counterintuitive to like getting into the flow and being able to do things. Like I find I write a ton of words when I'm doing sprints like that. But also I don't get as burned out because I'm taking the time to take breaks. I'm getting up and getting a snack, and I'm doing the little things to like reward myself and take care of myself for like succeeding in the sprint. And so I find that can be really helpful for me. How about you guys?
Yeah, I
Any
do the
tips
writing
to
sprints.
survive?
I do the writing sprints too because I find that helps, especially if I get stuck. Like if I don't get stuck, I can just go
Right.
and I can write and I'm fine. But if I get stuck on something or there's something I'm writing that's just not flowing properly, I do the writing sprints and I just write the whatever comes out and then I'll fix it later in editing. But yeah, and I belong to this group on Facebook, Write Storm, and they do
Oh, okay.
sprints.
Nice.
Yeah, they do sprints not every day, but they do sprints quite a few times a week, and they do special nano sprints as well. Anyway, and so yeah, they set the sprints up. That's 20. I think it's 20 minutes, and then 10-minute break, and then another 20-minute sprint.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah, so I find that useful.
Oh yeah, totally helps me.
And then chocolate breaks too. So
yes, chocolate. It always comes
yeah,
back
it's like
to chocolate.
write 500 words, have a chocolate bar. You know, 500 more words, have lunch, and then finish it off after lunch.
And then chocolate dessert, yes.
Yeah, the hot chocolate. There's hot chocolate in the cupboard for dessert.
Oh,
so.
nice. Yeah. Chocolate in every form. We have to have it. Yeah. How about you, Catherine?
Always get 2 bottles of water when you're
Okay.
going to write. Have one that you're drinking and one that you like throw underneath your desk, so
Okay.
that if like, so I've done sprints before, and basically it was, write for 15 20 minutes, and then see this that's happening, yes, all of
Yes,
that.
yes.
So we always keep a bottle of water. I love it. Yes. That is exactly what we do. Keep more than one bottle of water wherever you're writing. You're like your primary writing spot.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then
They're
2
big
years
too,
ago,
yeah.
was it 2 or 3 years ago, when I did I was doing Nano, but I wasn't writing for Nano. I was just doing it along with some people to write fics. When we would get done with the sprint, it'd be time for water. And if you did not have a bottle of water, you had to post in the chat whatever raw thing you had just written.
Oh no.
And you weren't allowed to edit when
Yeah.
you were writing. And so that was like I don't go anywhere without 2 bottles now.
Right,
it's like
right.
this terror of, no, you can't see it. I haven't done anything to it yet. That's my biggest thing, is make sure that you have water. And if
Right.
you do know there's going to be something distracting, so like my dog, I love them to death, but they're senior and they're needy, and so I typically don't do like the 15-minute take a break, 15-minute. I have to sort of block an hour ish.
Okay.
So what I will do is I will take them outside. I will run around with them a little bit. I'll bring them in. I'll feed them. And that's kind of got to be like my routine, where they've had a treat and now it's lay down time, and they'll usually nap
Right.
for an hour to an hour and a half. And then I just have to sort of plow through to get done.
Right.
But yeah, always have water in your office. Always, always, always.
Right. And appease the distraction so you have like an hour free time. Yeah. Nice. How about you, Hal?
I guess my best writing tip to keep writing would be just always have a notebook on you. And then if you have a pen on you, always keep it to the paper. So even if you don't know what you're going to write, a lot of people, they'll get so stuck in plotting. They're like, well, I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know what's happening there. I like to do an even balance between both. And sometimes I put my pen to the paper and I don't know whether it's going to be plotting or the actual writing of the chapter. And that's okay.
Right.
Just start with a sentence. If you can get one sentence out, the rest of it will come. And it's not anything to be stressed about. And I guess the biggest thing I want to say at the end of the day for people who are starting NaNoWriMo, if you don't win NaNoWriMo, it doesn't mean you're losing at life. You just,
Right. You still got
like,
words down that month.
and that's all it is. It's not meant to give you anxiety.
Yeah.
It's not meant to say, oh, well, if you can't write this in 1 month, then you're just the worst writer. Like, you obviously aren't dedicated to your craft.
No.
That is not what this is.
No.
So I think
No.
no stress. Just put your pen to the paper and the rest is going to come. And if it doesn't come, that's also okay.
Right.
If you've written any words, you've won.
This is meant to be like motivation, not anxiety. Yeah. So any words you get down is more than you had before the month started. And that's a really great outlook to have, is that it's fun, motivation. You get the support because other people are going through it too. But yeah, don't make it so stressful that you don't enjoy any of your writing, because that's not going to help your writing either. Yeah.
No, for sure it's not.
Yeah, make it more about the community than the competition.
Yes, community, not competition. I think that should be like a t-shirt that we all wear, walk around wearing. Yes. Very awesome. Very great. I'd like to take the last few minutes just for you guys to like have your time to say, like, if there's anything you want to promote or where we can find you online. We'll start with Hal this time. So where can our audience find you later?
So of course you can find my book in a multitude of sources when you type in "We Who Paved the Milky Way" and then Hal Arnold. You can also find me on TikTok at Hal Arnold, where I do a mixture of writing tips, kind of like comedic writers type things, and also I do like bookworm type stuff. So definitely a mixture of those things. I'm on Facebook, Instagram. Instagram I think is at Hal Arnold Author. And yeah, you can find me at all those places.
Great. Anita, how about you?
Well, you can find me on my website, afstewart.ca. I'm also over on Twitter. It's at Scribe77. I have a Facebook group, AF Stewart's Minions, and I just recently released my latest poetry book, horror poetry, poetry of monsters and madness. So
Very cool.
I love that cover.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
She made it herself. Yeah.
Yeah, I lucked out with the picture on that and getting it put together. It was
I love it. It's so good.
Yeah, it's amazing cover.
It's so good.
And how about you, Catherine? Where can we find you online?
You can find me online. So I have a website, Sweet, like sugar, sweettaleswithspice.com. I'm also on Facebook under the same. I am on TikTok, Sweet Tales with Spice. My book Love is available on pretty much every platform. So Amazon, Nook, Kobo, all those good things. And yeah, or you can just look up my website and find me there, and that has all the info, and have a good time with me because, accidental romantic writer.
Right. And I actually recently hung out with Catherine, and we had a great time. She's a very fun person. So yeah, definitely check them out. Yeah. And then I, of course, am Julia, your host on some of the shows for Go Indie Now. You can find me at hijinkswriter.com. My social media handle is hijinkswriter. Except for TikTok, where it was JINNY and Tonic, Ginny and Tonic. So yeah, check us out. Thank you all so much for being here. We have a couple of minutes, but unless there's any questions from the audience, I think it's time to say the magic words.
weren't you supposed to talk about coupons or something?
Oh, yes. Okay. So big hack is that you can get some coupons for doing NaNoWriMo. And the great thing about some of them is you don't even have to win NaNoWriMo. So winning NaNoWriMo just means that you successfully made your 50,000 words and you turn it in to get approved. They don't read your words. So I know a lot of people like scramble
you don't even have to turn them in anymore.
Oh, you don't even have to turn them. Okay.
No, you just have to hit the word count and you win, basically.
All right. So some awesome. The coupon that I know about is the Ingram Spark coupon, which you get for doing NaNoWriMo. What are some other coupons do you guys know about?
They have a lot of discounts for different programs like Scrivener and Campfire, the Campfire Blaze. Campfire Writes. It's Campfire Writes now, I think, that they recently rebranded and expanded their website. But they have a lot of different, like 50% off coupons and stuff like that, discounts for a lot of different services. And I think Pro Writing Aid might be one of them as well. Anyway, but Plotter. The Ingram Spark coupons will get you free. We'll get rid of all those.
A free download. Yeah.
No, it will get rid of all those fees for uploading their books and stuff, fees. So yeah, that one, I'm not sure what they're going to be doing with it this year because, with all the Ingram Spark changes, but in past years, just by participating, you could get that coupon. So
that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah,
I noticed
there are some
Plotter,
benefits for doing NaNoWriMo. Mm-hmm.
I noticed Plotter had like a 30% off coupon when I logged in today because I wanted to make sure I actually still had the name. So yeah, I noticed,
and that's PLOTTR, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. No E in the Plotter. Yeah.
I'd be interested. I'm gonna have to check with the formatting tool that I used to do my ebook Atticus. They mentioned something a couple newsletters ago about maybe doing something, but I haven't seen any confirmed. So if I hear about it, I'll let you guys know. So
Yeah,
because they're
for
just
sure,
coming out
yeah.
of beta.
Yeah.
And
Gotcha,
I've been
yeah, yeah.
using it. I actually really like it so far. I think they're trying to make it Vellum-ish for PC users,
Right.
which would be for us non-Mac people. That would be great because I
Amazing.
can't afford a
Yeah,
Mac and a Vellum.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Atticus is a good program. I tried it. It wasn't for me because the online thing that
Mm.
Yeah.
it just that was kind of a deal breaker for me. But the program itself, if you don't mind that online
Yeah.
thing, it's a good program. So
They are working on that too. That's one of the newer things that they're working on is trying
Yeah.
to see if they can do an offload version.
yeah,
Offline
but
version.
I have Papyrus Author, the free version of
Oh,
Papyrus
yep.
Author.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I use, and I'm happy with it. So
That's cool.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, thank you for the reminder. I was gonna say, like, I knew it's been a long day. I knew there was something I was gonna forget. But yeah, so there are benefits for doing NaNoWriMo. And you can always just search, like do a Google search, NaNoWriMo coupons, NaNoWriMo discounts, something like that to find out more. But yeah, we have hopefully that helps you all to feel more prepped to tackle the next big month. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to all my guests for being here. We really appreciate it so much. Go check them out. There's some awesome authors, if I can talk anymore. But as always, it's always time to go, Indy, now, and we will see you at the next town hall. Thank you.
Bye.